Hey everyone, so we've got episode 2 of the weekly recap where I bring you 3 cases that kind of came up throughout the week. I talk about some of the concepts and some of the strategies we use to help get people better. So my intention is that these can help you. These might come up in your life or you know somebody who's struggling with it, and you can apply these to make yourself better and start feeling better in the gym or in life, okay? So the first one I want to go over is the concept of dissociation of your hip and your low back, okay? So the problem is this. People will go to lift, and as soon as they bend their hips, they also bend their back. And that, you can see where you run into some problems if you lift some weight. It can be really heavy weight, like a big deadlift somebody's doing, or it can be a really light weight, okay? And then repeated stress over time with rounding that back can cause people to have pain and lots of other problems. So if we're going to pick this up and we're bending our hips and our low back at the same time, this is a really bad position, as you can see, and we need to start training ourselves to disassociate low back and hip, okay? Favorite drill to do that is to use a PVC pipe. I'm gonna put my head, my thoracic spine, and my tailbone on that PVC, and I'm gonna practice hinging this hip, okay? So we're hinging forward at the hip, coming back up. I'm not letting any part of this PVC come off of those contact points, okay? I don't want my head coming off. I don't want my arch, I don't want my back to arch, I don't want my mid back to come off. And I don't want to bend down especially and see this come off of my tailbone, okay? Because that means I'm rounding my low back. So we're gonna spend some time practicing this hinge. Before I have people do a heavy deadlift or any kind of deadlifting in the clinic, I have them doing some hip hinge practice with the PVC until I'm pretty sold that they know what they're doing and they're not gonna round out their back and hurt themselves with weight, okay? So I might do 10 reps, I might do 20 reps. Just really depends on how quickly they're picking this up. If you're doing it by yourself, look in a mirror, make sure that everything is lined up really well, and keep in contact with those points. And you can feel those points, okay? You can look in the mirror, or you can feel if that's coming off of your tailbone. And then we translate that to our lift, okay? So we're gonna keep that back straight, lifting up. My head should stay in alignment, okay? We don't want any looking up or looking down. Back's totally flat. And then I'm using the nice, powerful glute muscles now to move that weight, all right? So give that one a shot. Hip hinge with the dowel to make sure we're disassociating lumbar and hip motion, okay? So case number 2 would be shoulder pain, but shoulder pain that's radiating down, okay? Sometimes coming all the way to the elbow or past the elbow, sometimes radiating up into the neck, okay? If that's happening, chances are it's not really your shoulder joint that's causing you issues. It's probably coming from your neck. It's probably a nerve root that's getting irritated and causing symptoms that are radiating all the way down, okay? So 9 times out of 10, cervical retraction exercises are gonna help you, and I'll show you what that looks like, okay? So have a seat, make sure you have really good posture, and I want you to bring your chin straight back like you're giving yourself a double chin, so it looks like this. Okay, go as far as you can, squeeze for about 1 second back there, and make sure we're not compromising any of our form. We wanna make sure that we are solid here and just moving the neck. Okay? I usually recommend 10 repetitions every 2 hours throughout the day, and you should notice that this stuff starts going away, okay? Or it's not going down as far in the arm. That's good news. If it stops at the, it was at the wrist, now it stops at the elbow, good. It was at the elbow, now it stops at the shoulder, even better, okay? Keep working on those 10 reps every 2 hours, and you should start noticing that shoulder gets better, okay? Obviously, if your symptoms are getting worse and staying worse throughout the day, stop doing them. Make sure you talk to, let me know, or talk to your physical therapist, okay? All right, so case number 3, also dealing with the shoulder. A lot of times this comes up whenever somebody comes in with shoulder pain, true shoulder pain this time. And one of the main tests I like to use is I'll tell the patient to reach behind them to their opposite shoulder blade. I want to see if they can touch the bottom of their shoulder blade on this side, okay? We'll check both sides, compare side to side. A lot of times what you'll see is they can't achieve that. And actually, I'm gonna show you with my right one because it's not as good as my left, but I can't reach quite as high. I kind of get stuck here. Now I can kind of sneak it up there, but obviously there's a difference between how smooth this is and how tight this one is, okay? Kind of stuck. There are two motions that are associated with this movement, okay? One of them is extension, which means backwards motion, okay? And the other one is internal rotation, which means this motion right here. So, you know, not to give away any spoilers, but mine is definitely internal rotation. It's something I've got to work on myself. So, then we have to break it down into, okay, is it extension that's limiting us? Is it internal rotation that's limiting us? And then we've got to figure out, is it a strength issue or is it a motion issue? So This is my lovely wife. She's volunteered to be my patient today. So what we'll do is we're going to test her in standing, reaching for the opposite shoulder blade. So go ahead and just face that way. I want you to take your arm behind and try to reach your opposite shoulder blade. There you go. So she's got pretty good motion. And let's see the other side. Good, really good motion there. Okay, so for her, no big deal. We don't need to do a whole lot more, but for the sake of teaching you guys, I want to take her through all the tests that I would do. So go ahead and lay on your stomach right there. I would go ahead and have the patient do the same thing while they're lying on their belly too. So go ahead and touch the opposite shoulder blade. Okay, not much different than a standing, and let's see the other one. Perfect, okay. And so if you have that patient who's dealing with shoulder pain or they have that limited motion, kind of like I showed you with my right arm, I'm going to figure out where it's at, okay? So keep this elbow straight, and I want you to raise it straight up in the air. Okay, not too bad. And let's see this other one. Okay, look for differences side to side, all right? Then I can take her passively through those same things. So I'm bringing her up. We should have a whole lot of motion here. Okay, perfect. And we'll compare this side. Coming into extension, you're not going to hurt your people doing this. Perfect. And then I'm going to, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and test her strength as well. So I want you to raise this arm off the table just like you did. Good. Hold it there. Don't let me push you down. Hold, 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 hold. Good. And then same thing on this side. Hold right there. Good. All right. And then scoot over to the edge so that your arm's hanging off. So now we want to look at internal rotation strength. So we're going to be right here, and I want you to rotate your arm in just like that. Okay? So relax all the way. First thing I want to see is, can they do it against gravity? So go ahead and rotate in. Perfect. We're going to hold it there. Don't let me push you. And relax. Okay? So really good strength there. Let's flip over onto your back. And so for the sake of the camera here, we're just going to work on the left side. And so now I just want to test her range of motion. I want to see if we can get to about, okay, that's external rotation. We want to go internal rotation. So I'm just going to hold down the shoulder. I'm supporting her elbow with my knee, and you just relax, okay? We're just looking for motion here. Okay, we should have about 80 degrees, so not quite 90. 80 degrees right there, okay? Just so you can see, 80 degrees. So those tests, we're looking for any kind of limitations, okay? If we go here and we're saying, whoa, she's really stuck maybe at the 45-degree range, then we know we need to work internal rotation motion, okay? If she's on her belly and I can only get her so far with her arm, and she's kind of stuck there, I know we need to work extension, okay? And then if she's good on those passive motions, okay, passive motion, she's doing good, she's fine on all these, but then we see a strength limitation or a difference from side to side, we know we need to work strengthening in those areas. And that's the next thing I'll show you in the video. All right, guys, so we have done our test, we've done our strength test for extension, for internal rotation. We've done our range of motion test for extension and internal rotation. And we can have findings of one of 4 things, or we can have multiple things we need to work on whenever we do those tests, okay? So we'll go through each of the 4 situations and probably what I would do first step in order to treat those things, okay? So if we found that we are limited in extension, our motion is limited here, and we can't push them through extension, we got to work on that. So grab a PVC pipe, okay? Place let's say this is the tight arm. We're going to stay nice and tall, keep your shoulder blades back, and we're simply just going to push backwards, okay? They can use a broomstick at home or whatever, PVC pipe. And I like 10-second hold 10 times. That tends to do pretty well for tight joints in my experience. And so 3-4 times a day, then you'd be stretching out that shoulder, 10-second hold 10 times. You can also go fancy style, over the shoulder, hold on here, and give it a little pull. Some people like this one even better, okay? So a simple shoulder extension stretch, all right? If we have found that their internal rotation is tight and they're not getting this nice normal 80 degrees, then I would give them a sleeper stretch where we get here, okay? Partial roll onto that shoulder, make sure the elbow stays bent at 90, hand on the wrist, and we're pushing down towards the ground, okay? Normal motion should be fingertips touching the ground without compromising the shoulder coming off. That's why we roll onto the shoulders, because we don't want that shoulder to come off the ground or the table or whatever they're on. So I'm kind of rolling on it, locking it down, pushing down towards the ground, and you can see I'm a bit tight. That's why I couldn't reach my other shoulder blade, okay? I need to put more work into this personally, okay? 10-second hold 10 times, 3-4 times a day should be just fine, okay? Now, if we want to kind of blast through all that and say, you know what, let's just hit it all at once, maybe they're tight in both, banded bully is a really good one. So grab a pretty thick band, okay? We're gonna come out, loop that arm behind, and again, reaching towards the opposite shoulder blade. I'm just gonna come up nice and tall, and I'm making sure that my shoulder blade isn't crashing forward. I wanna pinch backwards, okay? Keep that chest up, and we're stretching both extension and internal rotation with the banded bully, okay? Be easy on that one. Do banded bully, I'd probably do 3 times 15 seconds. Should be nice to your shoulder. Okay. If we have found there is some weakness, okay, we've got a couple options. I really like a standard dumbbell row and really focusing on that part where we come past the rib cage, okay? And we're gonna do the whole motion, so it's gonna look something like this. So we're gonna do our dumbbell row. I like to kind of reach towards the knee and then drive up with the elbow, okay? Driving towards the ceiling, just like that. Keeping that dumbbell kind of low on the rib cage instead of coming up here, okay? I don't want to shrug. We want to stay low on the rib cage, drive that elbow towards the ceiling. Really focus on that top part right there, okay? So use it whatever weights you need to. Start light, start getting heavier and heavier, and really build up the strength in that very last bit of motion there, okay? Another one we could use that's pretty simple would be just a banded extension. So I'm really wanting to focus on that one spot where we're struggling, right there, okay? Keeping the elbow straight, pushing into full extension beyond the hip. I may even give them some holds, okay? So hold for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, working on control, okay? I'd probably prescribe, depending on the resistance, 3 or 4 sets of 8 to 15, okay? So when they're first trying to learn this, I'm gonna give them 15 with something really light, okay? As we're noticing, they're getting the pattern down and they're getting the motion we want, then we start getting heavier and heavier, okay? If we wanna train strength, we've gotta get in the 70% plus range of what their 1 rep max would be. So I don't know of anybody who 1 rep max is just pure extension, but we've gotta think heavy, okay? We're typically not pushing our patients into heavy enough resistance, I don't think, across the board. We've got to do a little better than that as a profession, okay? And then if we are missing internal rotation strength, I shouldn't have thrown my band away. Got a couple options. I like the throwers, okay? So we come here and we rotate like that. That's fine. You do lose from about here down, it gets pretty easy, okay? You can do good old-fashioned internal rotation here at the side where we're coming to the belly. Nice, slow and controlled. Okay. But honestly, I like to do, when we're dealing with rotator cuff musculature, I like to do more functional type things. So here, I'll hold here, and we'll go through some motion, okay? So those internal rotators need to kick in order to stabilize my arm. I'm trying to draw a straight line going straight out, okay? Work on stabilization there. Okay? A third option would be to go ahead and work the thing I'm struggling with. So that may even be just a really light weight, okay? So grab a real light weight, come over here, and we're gonna go ahead and work internal rotation, okay? Something just like that. It's a good idea to work in the area that's giving you issues, okay? If I have problems in the bottom of a squat, I probably need to work in the bottom of a squat. If I have issues with internal rotation when I'm laying on my belly, I need to work internal rotation when laying on my belly, okay? So lots of options with that. You can attack that many ways. As long as we're working these muscles that rotate the arm in towards the belly or rotate the arm in where it's pointing down, okay? You can be as creative as you want with that. So give those things a shot. If you have any questions on treatment options for those, if you want any more exercises I've used in the past for patients like that, let me know. And I'll see you again next week.